Hey there. Good evening, everybody. My name is Johnny Tran. This is the Creative Buzz Podcast, a glimpse into the local arts hive mind. And we cover San Diego arts and culture. And today we have a lot of cool things in store for you. First up, we got featured interview with local artist Victorio Villa about his upcoming solo exhibition at Thumbprint Gallery. We'll be talking about results from Prop 28 election, the voting results of that, and we'll also be talking about the Ticketmaster antitrust investigation that is set to start. But before we start that, I want to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by Thumbprint Gallery. We were founded in 2009. Thumbprint Gallery curates monthly and pop-up art exhibitions featuring emerging mid-career and established artists with a focus on contemporary pop culture, nostalgia, urban art, and pop surrealism. The gallery seeks to provide an eclectic and engaging atmosphere to view art by bringing people together in appreciation and support of local, national, and international artists. Do not miss out on our upcoming exhibition from local artist Victorio Villa titled Munti, with the opening reception on December 10th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Thumbprint Gallery in La Jolla. And of course, we will be having Victorio um, as our featured interview today. Here's the flyer for the exhibition, which will be on display until December 31st. And so stick around for the featured interview with Victor. I also want to let you know um, about our other exhibition, pop-up art show coming up called Ghibli 7. It's a Hayao Miyazaki fan art show at Bar Basic in downtown on December 10th. And it goes from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Over 15 artists will be showing. It'll be all fan art inspired by Studio Ghibli art show movies. Here is the flyer for it. This image is the artwork of local artist Sarah Bokanowski, who will also be in the art show at Bar Basic on December 7th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So yeah, that's what's up. And now we are going to welcome to the podcast local artist Victorio Villa. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, Johnny?
Doing good. Welcome
Cool.
to the Creative Buzz podcast. How's your
Hey,
evening?
hey.
Right on. Hey, so before we get started talking about your upcoming solo exhibition at Thumbprint Gallery um, on December 10th, maybe you could give us a little intro on who you are and for people that don't know, and when did you start making art and how did all of that start?
All right. So I'm Victorio. Pretty much grew up in San Diego. No, I've been making art probably, I don't know, since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just typical stuff, watercolors, crayons, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was actually like trying to copy a lot of like early Disney and Dr. Seuss type stuff.
Okay, all right.
Kid shit. Moved on to
Yeah.
robots later.
What Disney movies were most like inspirational for you?
Honestly, it wasn't even really the movies. It
Mm,
was these books that my parents gave me like when I was a kid.
okay.
And it's had like all like the classic characters, like Goofy and Donald Duck and frickin' Mickey Mouse and all that, and just started trying to copy those drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any of those drawings still?
I don't. No, I don't. I kind of wish I did. You know,
Yeah.
hang one on the wall just for fun.
Right on. Right on. And What so you got the upcoming art show, um, titled Munti. Um, Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the show. The title is Munti, which means little in Tagalog. Why did you decide on that title? And what's the meaning behind that, and what inspires the show?
So there's quite a few things that inspired the show. It's I grew up skateboarding in Southern California.
Mhm.
I was doing that for at least 25 years, which is a while, just quarter of a decade or quarter of a century. My mouth's off. Sorry, I'm horrible at this stuff. Anyway, so
I wouldn't have even caught that if you didn't say that, but
so the show, it's like I said, I grew up skateboarding, grew up
Mhm,
doing art. So I was trying to come up with a way to combine the two together.
mhm,
Um, and it's been a long time coming, because
mhm.
like I said, I've been doing this for a while now.
Yes. So you've been doing skateboarding for a while, and you've been doing art for a while. Are those, I mean, I know
Yeah,
art.
the skateboarding thing, I kind
Mhm.
of a car accident, so
Oh,
I was.
wow.
It's probably been 12. I want to say about 12 years ago. I got into an accident. Haven't skated much since then. A good friend of mine got me back into it again,
Mhm.
and it helped inspire this show,
Okay.
this work that I got coming up.
Mhm.
So basically, I mean, just step away from that for a minute.
Mhm.
I During the pandemic, it's like I've always been interested. Before that, I've always been interested in like miniatures, just like
Mhm.
small scale kind of models of just everyday things.
Mhm.
Uh, the pandemic hit, and we have a lot of spare time on our hands for like a good like 2 years.
Yep.
I actually started teaching myself how to make my own miniatures.
With miniature models of things like
Basically, just stuff you see around the city. I mean,
Mhm.
I made miniatures of utility boxes. You see
Mhm.
those everywhere. Bus benches. I used to ride the bus a lot, so you start to figure out, it's like what a bus bench looks like. You're like, hey, I'll make a little one. But
Right, right.
so it's yeah, I spent like 2 years just really just like getting kind of creative with that stuff.
Mhm.
The idea for the Moonty show is I wanted to bring back that the feeling I got from skateboarding, and
Mhm.
kind of bring that into my artwork.
Yeah.
So we started making these miniature models of just different things that from growing
Mhm.
up skating, a lot of like stuff just on the streets,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, so
basic.
like,
Uh,
like utility boxes and pallets, wooden pallets and stuff like that.
I kind of moved on from that. I got parking blocks.
There you go.
Skateboarding as a kid, it's like we're always like trying to do like board slides and whatnot on parking blocks, and some curbs.
Yeah.
Just every day, it's like honestly, it's just like stuff that people just walk past, drive past, don't even
Mhm.
think about it. With skateboarding, it's like we always kind of looked at that stuff as like It's like the city was like the city parking lots, any type of urban area was like our playground,
Mm-hmm.
just a spot for us to roll around on. So,
It's like basically everything in the city was inspiration for you in a way, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah. So you grew up skateboarding. Were you a part of the whole skateboarding scene in San Diego growing up? I mean, did you probably skated with other people, and was there a whole scene going on, or did you see it develop, or what was that experience like?
it was a good time. I mean, it was a great time.
Hmm.
Got to meet a lot of different people here and there.
Yeah. Anybody famous? Any famous skaters?
Ah man, I knew that question was coming.
Did you? I didn't know.
Uh, a few people here and there.
Yeah.
See, Peter Schmolik grew up over in Claremont, which I grew up in Terrasana, so that was like a couple
Mm,
months away.
okay.
And we pop over to Terrasana, we hang out and skate like Sarah High School and stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
another dude, Willie Santos,
Mm,
the local guy. That guy's still killing it. I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
I don't know anything
Willie.
about skating, but I'll take your word for it.
Uh, but just being in Southern California and San Diego, it's like there's just
Hmm.
so many people that came up in the scene.
Right on. Yeah, I just want to let our audience know. Feel free to try to ask questions for Victor. Hopefully, the chat will
No,
show up.
no questions. I'm
No
just kidding.
questions. Ask him the hardest questions.
Oh man, what would
um,
that?
what was that?
Now I'm just trying to think. What would the hardest question to answer be?
I don't know. Who knows? But so what mediums did you use to create, the mini sculptures that you have coming up in the solo exhibition? And what materials and
I've been using a mixture of things. Anything from so there's these like pink foam sheets that you get from Home Depot. It's used for like insulation or like soundproofing and stuff.
Mhm.
Been using a lot of that. It's actually it's really good to work with. A lot of people that do like diorama and model type stuff use that
Okay.
same. Uh,
Is it very moldable, or what makes it so good to work with?
so much moldable. You can cut it, carve it, sand it, just about into
Hmm.
any shape, any form. I've also been using a little bit of like a polymer concrete here and there.
Okay.
Um, cork,
Nice.
kind of weird, like cork sheets. See, actually, I figured out that cork, when you paint it black,
Mhm.
has almost kind of resembles asphalt.
Okay.
So it's
That makes
cool
sense.
trick, and yeah, just like a lot of different materials. I got some pieces where I actually just like incorporated like dirt. I mean, just give it a more realistic feel.
Did
Dirt, moss, uh, tree branches.
Wow. Did you have to experiment a lot, to kind of figure out how these, I don't know, materials would work into, could be incorporated into your artwork?
I is a little bit of experimentation, and I'm going to be honest with you. The first
Mhm.
month of starting these pieces, I was failing miserably. Just so many issues with just all the different types of materials I was trying to use. All
Mhm. Right.
uh, took me a good month or two to get everything dialed in, but once I actually started figuring everything out, and as I was going, it got easier, and I managed to knock out. I got about approximately 12 pieces for this show.
Okay. Very
Maybe
cool.
more. I'm still inspired to do more. I know it's cutting it close, but I
Yeah, you
might
could
have.
probably fit a couple more in. I don't know. Not that you have to.
No.
I think you cut out there. I didn't get that last part.
Oh, I just said you never know.
Oh, right. Yes.
Uh,
And when did you start making sculptural works? Like you before you worked in 2D a lot, but when did you start making sculptural works?
I started getting really hyped on sculptural stuff a few years back.
Mhm.
I I mean, I'm known mostly for my abstract work,
Mhm.
and I was always trying to think of a way to push that further. So I started doing kind of wooden sculptures of the pieces that I was painting, and
You
then
you mean
from that,
like wooden sculptures of the abstract work?
oh yeah, the abstract
Mhm.
work.
Right. I think I
So
remember
that
that.
that really that helped me push it a little further to try and go, I guess, more three-dimensional with just
Mhm.
anything that popped into my head is kind
Right.
of, if I came up with an idea and I could figure out a way to do it three-dimensionally, then I would try and figure it out to come up with a finished piece.
But
And
you kinda use your past abstraction works to, kinda inspire your jump into 3D.
yeah, it's a kind of a mix of that and just my interest in modeling
Mhm.
that I've picked up over the years.
Oh, by the way, I'm wearing an abstract design of yours on my shirt. Just wanna
Oh
let
yeah,
everybody see that.
you get another one of those.
Yeah,
Thank you
okay,
for supporting. You know,
for sure. And, so what is it that you get, like, out of making sculptural work that you may not get out of painting and drawing, and vice versa? Like, what's as an artist, like, what is it you get out of it? Of each format, I guess.
um, it's just actually like with the painting, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm creating something, and it just kind of, I feel like I create a piece, I hang it on the wall, and it's just kind of static. Just,
Mhm.
I mean, it's looks good visually, but it's
Right.
just, it's almost like decorating the wall.
Right.
Uh, with the more 3D stuff, it's like it's just kind of satisfying to create an actual object that you can hold in your hand.
Mhm.
That's something, I don't know.
More
I mean,
interactive, more interactive.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you can say that.
Right on. Very
It's almost
cool.
uh, kind of a, I don't know, kind of hokey, kind of capturing like a moment in time or something.
Mhm. No, I get it. Um, and what is the most challenging part of this exhibition, and what was the most enjoyable part of making the artwork for this exhibition?
The most challenging part was the concrete.
Yeah, why is that?
With
Why concrete?
concrete, is no joke. Yeah, I got to tip my hat to the guys that actually like do construction and work with this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It is tricky to
Mm.
work with. And then also trying to work with it on a more micro scale is kind of like a lot of trial and error,
Right.
trying to get like the proper mixture with the water and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, there's a tons of videos showing you how to like,
Mm-hmm.
but then you pull up the video and it's like, you're only trying to do something maybe about like, say 5 inches.
Uh-huh.
And they're showing you how to mix enough concrete to basically lay a slab in your backyard. So
Right.
didn't
So
really help.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um
it's
oh,
the hardest part. Just that, and just all the other materials. Just kind of lot of trial and error before figuring it out.
yeah.
Easiest part for me was once I have everything assembled, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
was painting.
Okay. Giving it
Just
color.
painting, giving it color. Also, it's like you want to do a type of like I want for myself, for my stuff. I wanted to give it that type of weathering like you would see from something that's just been sitting out for a while, been sitting out, been used, been skated on,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So yeah, that was the easier part. Almost the more satisfying part was like actually just like the detail, just getting it dialed in and being like, all right, that
Yeah.
looks freaking cool.
It did now here comes the fun part.
Yeah.
Right on. Um yeah, so I guess the show is about skateboarding. That's about, you know, something you've done, as a kid and whatnot. And I noticed that you in your works in the past you've referenced a lot of nostalgia. What is what is that all about? What is the significance of nostalgia to your artwork in general?
Um, it's just like kind of with the nostalgia. It's just like I mean, aside from what I'm doing, it's like
Mhm.
I guess any artist is doing is they're trying to evoke like a feeling
Mm.
in, in their audience, like something like a feeling and like emotion or whatnot. So it's kind of like with the pieces that I've created now, it's kind of like I was saying about earlier about like people just walking down the street or whatever, driving around, just past stuff, just everyday things. And it's like those guys that grew up skateboarding, or even the kids nowadays,
Mhm.
were to see my work, it would hit them. They would know. I mean, especially with let me see.
So kind of like making a connection
Yeah.
with the audience, like, hey, we have common ground. Here's some stuff. If you're into skateboarding, boom. You ever been to a city? Here's some city looking stuff.
Oh yeah. Like
Mhm.
you see kids out on the street, like parking lots of skating curbs and stuff. So if a kid was to run across a piece of art at a gallery,
Uh,
little skate rat, a little skate kid,
yeah.
they would know exactly what this is. I mean,
Uh-huh.
straight
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
slid on curb.
if you ever skated.
I actually modeled these after the school in Point Loma that a lot of the older cats have been meeting up at. They do a thing called a Slappy Sundays.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
like a lot of guys my age. I mean, honestly, I want to go. It's just
Do you? Oh, you don't go, or do you go?
I work on Sundays.
Oh, okay. What
I
are you gonna
mean,
do?
I pop over there every now and then on other days, but
Hmm.
I'm just there. But there's nobody else there. So I mean, it'd be good to meet up with some of those guys. I mean, like Willie rolls through there. Brisk, yeah, that dude. I see his painting behind you, man.
Oh yeah. Wait,
Oh
he's
yeah,
a skater?
oh yeah, he rolls through there, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's a few guys you probably wouldn't know that. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're out there still doing it.
Right on. Yeah, this is Briss painting over here. I got your painting in my kitchen. So
Hey, it's cool, man. I like food.
right on, right on.
Uh,
One last question, I guess. What would be some advice you would have for beginning artists that haven't had their first gallery show yet and are just looking to try to show some art?
wow, that's a big one there. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I think one of the main things it would be go to shows.
That's good.
Go to shows. Go to the galleries.
Hmm.
Find find that find your home. Find that place. Find that
Hmm.
gallery. Fits your artwork. Or that your artwork fits in. People
Hmm.
that see how you vibe with the other artists that show in that gallery or the owners of the gallery. I mean, just
Hmm.
that's a big thing. It's like, I mean, I've helped curate shows. I've helped with your guys' pop-up shows.
Hmm.
It's like I've noticed we get artists that want to show in the gallery, have never been in there,
Right.
and it's kind of like, and typically it's artists doing a type of art that we don't normally show, and this is
Right.
kind of off-putting. I mean, but yeah, I mean, but as far as giving advice, I'd be like, yeah, just do that. Also with your work, just keep pushing it. Keep pushing it.
Hmm.
Don't sit back and just think, all right, I've made this, and just like rest and be like, all right, I'm only doing this from now on. It's like you got to keep progressing.
Hmm.
Just keep doing what you're doing, but just find ways to level it up some.
Innovate.
Yeah, because I mean, no matter what anyone does, is what you do. It's like you can always do a little better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like life,
Yep.
you could always do a little better.
Or worse. Just joking. All right. Well, cool. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Victor. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out the solo exhibition titled Munti. Opening reception December 10th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thumbprint Gallery in La Jolla. Any last words?
Uh, come to the show.
All right.
Come check it out. It'll be a good time. Trust me, good stuff. Besides that, I hope everyone just has a good night. Be safe.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much, Victor. Talk to you soon.
And thank you, Johnny. I'll see you this weekend, man.
All right. All right. That was Victorio Villa, our next featured artist at Thumbprint Gallery in La Jolla this Saturday. come on by 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And going to move on to the next thing. Wanted to talk about Proposition 28, which we had talked about previously and promoted. That proposition has passed in the most recent election in California. This proposition provides a boost of approximately $1 billion for arts and music education for K through 12 schools. Um, this is from the LA Times. Proposition 28 does not raise taxes, but instead creates a guaranteed annual funding stream for music and arts education by requiring the state to set aside an amount that equals 1% of the total funding already provided to schools each year. So thanks everybody for voting for Prop 28 in California. And thank you everybody for being here, checking out the podcast, the Creative Buzz podcast, which is sponsored by Thumbprint Gallery, which was founded in 2009. We curate monthly and pop-up art exhibitions featuring emerging mid-career and established artists with a focus on contemporary pop culture, nostalgia, urban art, and pop surrealism. The gallery seeks to provide an eclectic and engaging atmosphere to view art by bringing people together in appreciation and support of local, national, and international artists. And now I want to move on to the Ticketmaster story. The Department of Justice has recently announced it is starting an antitrust investigation into Ticketmaster. You probably all know what happened with the Taylor Swift tour and Ticketmaster not being able to process the tickets and everybody, getting pissed off. That has kind of put attention on Ticketmaster, and people are starting to wonder if Ticketmaster is in fact a monopoly that should be broken up. And that's why U.S. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Mike Lee have announced a Senate antitrust hearing on the matter. Since merging with venue operator Live Nation in 2010, the ticketing company has operated a monopoly over the live concerts industry. Under this merger, the new parent company became Live Nation Entertainment, Inc., and has controlled almost every aspect of the business, ranging from ticket sales to event promotions to venue operations and everything else in between, and even band merchandise sales. Live Nation Entertainment currently controls 70% of live event market, according to an article in Jacobin magazine. The company regularly tax on fees to ticket sales of up to 70% or more than the face value of the actual ticket. So the fees are sometimes more than the actual ticket price. Artists are charged 20 to 30% of all merchandise sales at Live Nation venues. And this is from the Jacobin article. As the company has become the dominant ticketing operation, concerns have grown over its monopolistic practices, including how it treats consumers. Event goers have criticized the ticket retailer for years, arguing the fees tacked on to sales were exorbitant and often disproportionate to the ticket's face value. A class action lawsuit originally filed in 2003, taking aim at these excessive fees, was eventually settled in 2014 for $400 million without Ticketmaster or its parent company, Live Nation, admitting wrongdoing. So Ticketmaster has also come under fire over its predatory practice of dynamic pricing, which results in consumers being charged insane prices for tickets on the secondary market by ticket resellers. Now, here's a video from More Perfect Union that explains this predatory practice and more. Give me 1 second.
A few weeks back, Bruce Springsteen fans were outraged to find that ticket prices for his current tour were as high as $5,000.
Springsteen's fans have never felt cheated until now.
$5,000 a piece.
$5,000.
Would you really pay $5,000 to go see your favorite band?
No.
I can't do that.
That's a bit much.
We can thank a predatory new business practice for that. It was introduced by Ticketmaster, and they call it dynamic pricing. It's an experimental technique, and it's pissed off everyone, from fans to venues to performers themselves, including the boss. So, how can Ticketmaster get away with it? Because they are the bullies of the music industry playground. Ticketmaster and Live Nation, which is the same company, but we'll get to that later, can basically do whatever they want because they have seized control over every aspect of the live music industry by creating a monopoly. This ticketing cartel has the power to destroy venues and artists who refuse to work with them. They even have their own resale platform, and they encourage and incentivize ticket resellers to gouge fans. All of these exploitative practices make Ticketmaster execs very, very rich. Live Nation CEO Michael Rapino made $70.6 million in 2017. That's one of the largest CEO pay packages ever. But here's the twist. This entire monopoly was helped along and enabled by our elected leaders. So how do we get to a point where the people in charge of preventing monopolies are enabling monopolies? And more importantly, how can we take back power from Ticketmaster and their monopolistic brethren? Let's take a look. I'm Cory Doctorow, and this is The Classroom from More Perfect Union. I'm going to have to give you a brief history lesson on antitrust law. That's the government's toolbox for fighting monopolies. I wrote a whole book about it. It's called Choke Point Capitalism, and I wrote it with my friend Rebecca Giblin. Now, the glory years of antitrust were right after FDR's New Deal. The government saw that monopolies weakened worker power, and so they set to breaking up these giant corporations and to preventing future monopolies from forming. Back then, monopolies were viewed as a threat to the very idea of democratic citizenship. Then in the 1970s, a conservative legal scholar named Robert Bork and his pals at the University of Chicago's School of Economics started spreading a very different view of antitrust. They said, forget about all that high-minded crap about democracy and citizenship. Instead, anti-monopoly regulators should limit themselves to thinking about consumer welfare. Basically, they focused on short-term goals like lowering prices rather than promoting competition in and of itself, and most importantly, preventing the gross power abuses of monopolies. Antitrust enforcement fell by the wayside as a priority. The Democratic Party platform didn't even mention antitrust once between 1992 and 2016. This is what allowed for the growth of monopolies in every industry: meatpacking, tech, banking, finance, eyeglasses, cheerleading, beer, and in 2010, the music industry. For 15 years prior to their merger, Ticketmaster was the dominant provider of ticketing services in America, controlling 80% of the market. Live Nation was the largest concert promoter in America. They controlled America's biggest concert venues and the artists themselves. They managed 200 major artists from Miley to Willie. And Live Nation was Ticketmaster's #1 customer. Live Nation used Ticketmaster to sell tickets for venues and artists that Live Nation managed. But in 2007, Live Nation thought, hey, maybe we should build our own ticketing platform. Ticketmaster did not like that, and so just 2 years later, Live Nation and Ticketmaster announced a merger. Which sounds like a clear antitrust problem. Isn't someone supposed to be on top of that? At the time, the Obama DOJ's top antitrust cop was Christine Varney, who said, I understand that consolidation has been going on in the industry for some time. Those are meaningful concerns, but many of them are not antitrust concerns. So there you go. The two most powerful companies in the live music industry join forces, and it's not an antitrust concern. They were slapped with a few restrictions when they merged. A few. Antitrust mostly relies on two kinds of remedy: structural and conduct. Structural remedies are about actually breaking up parts of a giant consolidated empire. Conduct remedies are about changing behavior, regulating anti-competitive business practices, and regulating how giant companies wield their power. conduct remedies are pretty ineffective because they're really hard to actually enforce. The consent decree that the Ticketmaster Live Nation corporate empire got was a mix of structural and conduct remedies, but essentially it all boiled down to a pinky swear. Live Nation had to promise that they wouldn't use their power over events and venues to grow their ticketing dominance. The combined company violated their consent decree with impunity because, like a playground bully, they had created a culture of fear where no one else in the live music industry would speak out against them. When we interviewed people for our book, we always gave them the option not to be named, but almost nobody took us up on it, except for those people we spoke to about Live Nation. In most cases, those sources were anxious about even speaking off the record. There's no conduct remedy that can address that kind of power. Structural remedies are more effective because they force monopolies to break off portions of their power. Ticketmaster was forced to sell portions of their empire to much smaller companies, but it was barely a dent. Now, 12 years later, we're seeing a company whose power is so vast that they could sell $5,000 tickets to see the guy who sings, "Poor men want to be rich men want to be king, and the king ain't satisfied till he rules everything." We do mean everything. They've also dominated the ticket resale business. They have their own resale software. It's called Trade Desk, and in 2018, an investigation revealed that Ticketmaster had encouraged and incentivized resellers to set enormously high ticket resale prices. Ticketmaster loves resales for one simple reason. They get to charge their service fees twice, and those resales net them a second, more lucrative fee on the same product, the one they've already sold once. Live music isn't the only creative industry that has fallen prey to giant monopolies. Just 3 massive conglomerates own the major labels and publishers that control the world's music. Those labels design the streaming industry, which is dominated by Spotify, which itself was partially owned by those 3 same labels. Now that Disney owns 21st Century Fox, just one company controls 35% of the US box office. The publishing industry is controlled by 5 big companies. That number was 6 when we started writing our book, and if they get their way, it'll soon be 4. That's just wildly quick consolidation. Yes, it's always been hard to be an artist, but the difference today is that corporations are extracting the maximum capital from artists' labor, and they're not sharing it anymore. We creative workers, we know that our music, movies, and other culture markets are in trouble. In the past, we were told to rely on copyright if we were going to hold on to our rights and our values. But copyright does nothing to solve a problem like Ticketmaster. Giving us more copyright in these monopolized markets is like giving more lunch money to your kid who's getting his lunch money taken off of him by bullies every day. No matter how much money you give him, the bullies are going to take that money every day too. And the problem isn't just that artists are getting ripped off, and it's not just that fans and small business owners are getting ripped off. It's that monopoly threatens the overall health of our democracy itself. Now, I've got good news. The Biden administration took a strong stance against monopoly power. Remember when we were talking about the prevalence of Bork and that theory of antitrust that said we shouldn't do anything unless prices are going up? This administration came out against that sort of thinking, and they handed down an executive order that charged the DOJ to police monopolies and protect consumer autonomy and privacy. That's an admission that monopolies are about more than just prices. If they're serious about this, the Ticketmaster monopoly has to be on the DOJ's agenda. We need to break up the bullies. Ticketmaster bullies venues into not working with their competitors. They bully smaller artists by denying them management. They bully big artists by controlling their ticket prices and letting their fans down. And they bully customers into paying exorbitant prices for tickets, not only by enabling resellers, but by collecting massive fees on every ticket those resellers sell. All of this amounts to an environment where competition has been totally removed from the live music ecosystem, making it worse for everyone except Ticketmaster and Live Nation executives who are making millions of dollars a year. We have to act now. Biden's DOJ should take up and review this case due to Ticketmaster's continued violation of their consent decree. We need to unwind this monopoly and break them up.
All right, so as you can see from the video, the Live Nation Ticketmaster monopolistic practices are part of a larger trend of corporate consolidation that has spread all over the music industry and other creative industries. You can also see from the video how the political sphere plays a role in all of this. The Jacobin magazine reports, and I quote, since 2020, Live Nation has spent more than $3 million on federal lobbying, according to Open Secrets, including on efforts to beat back attempts in Congress to better regulate event ticket markets. Forbes Tate Partners, one lobbying firm employed by Live Nation, has also led the healthcare industry's campaign to defeat reform proposals like Medicare for All and a public health insurance option, as well as efforts to lower the Medicare eligibility age. The firm's work for Live Nation has included lobbying on issues related to transparency and accountability, to ticket sales pricing, and issues related to antitrust enforcement. Live Nation's leadership and investors have deep ties to the Republican establishment and the conservative billionaire class. Its largest shareholder is Liberty Media Corporation, which also controls a 75% stake in the satellite radio company Sirius XM. At the helm of Liberty Media sits John Malone, a multi-billionaire media mogul, director, and former board member of the right-wing think tank Cato Institute, and prominent donor to Donald Trump's presidential inauguration, as well as various other conservative politicians and causes. So you can see it's not just about ticket sales, and it's related to how our economic system is designed to benefit a smaller and smaller amount of people and entities and corporations, and the arts is not just about entertainment, but it also intersects with finance, economics, and politics. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the whole Ticketmaster thing, and maybe we'll update you when something comes up. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and listening to the Creative Buzz podcast, which is sponsored by Thumbprint Gallery, which was founded in 2009. We curate monthly and pop-up art exhibitions featuring emerging mid-career and established artists with a focus on contemporary pop culture, nostalgia, urban art, and pop surrealism. The gallery seeks to provide an eclectic and engaging atmosphere to view art by bringing people together in appreciation and support of local, national, and international artists. And don't miss out on the upcoming exhibition from Victor Villa, starting December 10th. The opening reception is 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also, don't forget about the Miyazaki Fan Art Show Bar Basic this coming Wednesday, December 7th, 6 to 9, with over 15 artists exhibiting. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.